How's it going, everyone? Got quite a lot to cover in this video. PlayStation Plus has gotten yet another November update. We'll go over all of that. On top of that, surprise new release has hit PlayStation Plus Extra. We'll talk that. And we have a bit of an update on the potential Last of Us multiplayer project, a very much will it or will it not happen type of deal with this. I have a lot of opinions on it. I've been pretty vocal about my thoughts on it, but we'll talk that at the end of this video. First of all, a plethora of PlayStation Plus premium game trials have just been added to the service for November. We have AFL 23, Cyber TD, Evil West, Matchpoint, MotoGP 23, Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures Deluxe, Sifu, which we talked about before, Tri-Six Infinite, TT Isle of Man, Ride on the Edge 3, and Wizard with a Gun, and most importantly, quite possibly in my opinion, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion has gotten a trial as well. Out of the games that have been added, I would say that Crisis Core FF7 Reunion as well as Evil West are the best and biggest trials that have been added. Crisis Core FF7 Reunion, I think, is a pretty decent one to add. Now, it is a 2-hour game trial, which I think some people are going to be like, whoa, why only 2 hours? This is a lengthy JRPG. Well, it's not a lengthy JRPG. Crisis Core is a game you can complete and, around 14 to 15 hours, maybe even quicker than that if you really rush through it. Like, this was a PlayStation Portable game. Yeah, it's upgraded a little bit, but it's not a full-on remake or anything like that. I still think Crisis Core is a very, very good game to go through. The battle system has been improved. Just the fluidity of it with the DMW system and whatnot, that was improved greatly. And obviously with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Zack is going to be a major part of that game. You probably want to know, the origin story of Zack and where he comes from. He's very integral to the overall narrative of Final Fantasy VII, so this is obviously a great title to go through and gives you the introduction on why, Sephiroth is the way that he is, and even introduces a little bit of Cloud and gives you a little bit of background. I am personally trying to play through everything FF7 related before Rebirth comes out. That includes a replay of the original Crisis Core as well as Final Fantasy VII Remake, but we'll see if I get through all of that. That's going to be a lot of content to go through, but Crisis Core is a good one. Evil West, another decent one to go through. That's a 2-hour trial as well, and I talked about Sifu. That's another good one. That is a 1-hour trial, so go check that out as well if you're interested. PlayStation Plus Premium still needs a lot of work, of course, with the egregious price increase, just offering a couple trials for games that have been out for quite a while. I said Crisis Core, Evil West, and Sifu are probably the best trials added. All of those games are a year old. Crisis Core is approaching a year old, I should say. Evil West is a year old, and Sifu's well over a year old. Like, we need better offerings. We need, in my opinion, trials for games that aren't out yet. 48 hours. Everybody's doing this early access giving. Why not offer some value with PlayStation Plus Premium? Be like, hey, if you sign up to PlayStation Plus Premium and you buy, let's say you have to buy Spider-Man 2, why not let people play an hour of the game 48 hours before it drops? Or even, you don't have to buy the game, just with Plus Premium, you get to play the game 48 hours early for an hour or two. You don't even have to give full early access, and watch them bake in some sort of early access agreement or early access component to PlayStation Plus Premium. Man, if they want to get people to sign up to Plus Premium, get Spider-Man 2 early access, or games at the level of Spider-Man 2 early access exclusively to Plus Premium subscribers. Yeah, that'll be one way to do it. And as I am saying this, I'm like, man, I'm giving Sony some really bad ideas. But if you think this hasn't come across the table of Sony and the business deciders and the people in power making these decisions, you are kidding yourself. They have absolutely thought about elements like this and whichever way they can go to make more money off of their consumer. I mean, this is a business after all. Moving on from that, a native PlayStation 5 version of Uno has been added to PlayStation Plus Extra. It's been available as a PS4 title, but now it's available on PS5 as well. Players can choose gameplay with traditional rules, including stacking 7-0 and jump in, and use Uno's online multiplayer feature to play with friends on the same platform. The Ultimate Edition of the game also includes the DLC pack. So yeah, Uno's available on Plus Extra as well for those of you that care, which is probably a decent amount of you. Uno is kind of popular, so yeah, not my cup of tea, but there you go with that. Lastly, we have a bit of an update on the Last of Us's multiplayer project. The project's game director noted, yes, I'm still working on that game as far as the Last of Us's multiplayer project. As far as if this is being worked on as the standalone multiplayer release that we had thought it to be, that is what I'm uncertain about at this point. I'm sure that given that they put so much into Last of Us Factions for so long, given that when did we see that initial cinematic art? It's been like 2 years since we saw that, maybe even longer than that. It's been quite a while, I know that much, and obviously this was going to be a big project for Naughty Dog, but at the same time, this was very much going to be a live service game. This wasn't going to be Last of Us Factions that we saw with Last of Us 1. This was going to be your live service game that tries to get players invested for years and years on end, microtransactions, all that kind of stuff. It wasn't going to be like a classic multiplayer project. That is obviously what Sony wants to get into. It's the same thing that Ubisoft did, same thing that EA wants to do, same thing a lot of publishers want to do, and that is create live service games that they can generate revenue off of for years and years to come. They see the money that a Fortnite, that an Apex Legends, that these games that are live service titles can generate, and Sony wants a piece of that pie. What I have always argued is that it is such an oversaturated market that it is hard to break into it, but we know the game plan the Ubisofts and even PlayStation has when it comes to live service. Let's just throw stuff at the wall. We just need a couple games to stick and we'll make all our money back just with those couple games sticking. That's why you hear crazy things like Sony's gonna drop X amount of live service games, whether it be 15, 20, same thing with Ubisoft, having 10, 15 live service games currently in development. You are crazy if you think a Ubisoft that a Sony thinks all of these games are gonna land and all of these games are gonna stick. They're not stupid. They know the majority of them are gonna be complete flops. Do you think Sony is completely confident that a Concord or a Fair game is gonna be that live service game explosion that they are completely hounding for, that they're desperate for? No, they're not completely confident in that, but I guarantee you they have a bit of confidence in if we drop 10, 15, 20 of these live service games, a couple of them gotta click, especially if a couple of them are attached to notable IPs such as The Last of Us, such as a Horizon that is rumored as well. That I can understand. What I have always been of the mindset of is that PlayStation needs multiplayer games. It needs big multiplayer titles. But yeah, I'm always gonna be like, yo, just give me a Killzone 2 remaster and I'll shut the hell up. Like, that's all I want. Give me a Killzone 2 remaster, put it on PC, put it on Xbox if you want. Hell, put it on Nintendo Switch. I don't give a damn. Let as many people play it as possible. Charge $50 for it if you want to, and I will play the hell out of a Killzone 2 remaster. But no, we gotta get the Concords, we gotta get the Fair games, we gotta get Last of Us Factions, you know, being turned into some live service gimmicky project, which that is just what I'm assuming, and that's why this game is, like, perpetually in uncertainty, because Bungie came in, looked at this project, and decided that it wasn't gonna resonate, or wasn't gonna be what Sony wanted it to be. I just very much disagree with the outlook that Sony has, and hopefully that is shifting. There's been rumblings that potentially they may forego as big of an emphasis on live service as we've seen, or as has been rumored. But yeah, if a couple of these games flop, which obviously you don't want these games to flop, but it's just gonna be hard to break into the market, especially when Sony's not doing these new IPs any favors. Like, I'll mention it again, Fair Game and Concord had to be some of the worst video game debuts I've ever seen in my life, especially when you did it at an event like PlayStation Showcase, where you knew what people were wanting, to see, and they gave CG trailers for games nobody knows about, live service, which is a disconnect from what the PlayStation audience wants, and it's just a train wreck. It was a complete train wreck, and whoever greenlit that event and that way to showcase Concord and Fair Game for the first time to a new audience, like, bruh, very much need some reflection and how you handle that. I'm not gonna say it was Nintendo E3 2008, but man, that was pretty bad, and yeah, they're gonna need a lot of refinement. If they want to invest into this area, I just think it would be such a better idea. Go the multiplayer route, but do something like a Killzone 2 remaster so you can get your feet a little wet and bring a PlayStation audience back into multiplayer. And yo, release that on PC again. I'm just telling you, it would do so well. And I don't understand why I have to be pretty much the only one beating this drum. Like, get people acclimated to playing multiplayer games again. But whatever. It seems like anytime I talk about multiplayer and PlayStation, it just devolves into me ranting about needing a Killzone 2 remaster. What I expect out of this Last of Us project is I don't think it's going to be a standalone release. What I think is going to happen is that this multiplayer aspect is going to be baked into Last of Us Part 3 somehow. But we'll see what ultimately does happen. As I've mentioned before, I think Naughty Dog has been one of the most disappointing studios of this generation. Naughty Dog and really Rocksteady, those two have been incredibly disappointing. With Factions going to the wayside and us just literally getting a remaster as the only release Naughty Dog has had this generation after a lackluster Last of Us Part 2, in my opinion. And then Rocksteady, obviously, we don't need to talk about them at this point. Hopefully Suicide Squad is a decent outing for them. But that'll do it for me. Again, a bunch of PlayStation Plus updates. Crisis Core getting a trial. Sifu, Evil West, go check that stuff out. Uno on Plus Extra, and a bit of an update on Last of Us. I know I devolved into a little bit of a rant there, but whenever multiplayer and PlayStation is talked about, I get a little bit heated because I think this could have been handled a lot better, and it just brings me back to that atrocious PlayStation showcase. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.